Good morning students, welcome to 11th Business Studies. In our last video, we have seen classifications of public sector and the first classification was departmental undertakings. Let us see today the second classification of public sector, that is statutory corporation. Now, what actually is the statutory corporation? Statutory corporation are the public enterprises and which are brought into existence, that means which comes into an existence by a separate, we can say, a special act. There is a special act which is passed in the parliament, and the act defines all powers and functions and regulations and their relationship with the government department. So all this are mentioned in the act, and the act is being passed in the parliament with a special act. So there comes under a statutory corporation. So remember, statutory corporation are established under special act, and that too that is passed in a parliament, and all powers, functions, relationship with the government department is mentioned in that particular act. Now this statutory corporation are a corporate body which is created by the legislature. Now what is this legislature? Legislature means a group of people who have power to make the law and to make changes in the law. Like I can say example Vidhan Sabha, okay, or we can say Vidhan Parishad, where the state body is there and they can take a decision, they can make a law. Okay, so this corporate sector is being passed and being made by a state legislature. Okay, so they are a group of body with group of people who passes this law under which state corporation comes. Example, Unit Trust of India, Life Insurance Corporation. So these are the example of statutory corporation. Is it clear? Number 1, special act. Number 2, in a parliament. Number 3, by state legislature. And number 4, all the powers, functions are mentioned in the act. Let us see now what are the features, so it will be more clear what is statutory corporation. Number 1, it is established under a special act. Okay, already we discussed it is under a special act, and which defines all the objects or powers and functions and relationship with the government department. So this is the first feature. Second one, it is a separate legal entity. Now it is very clear what is separate legal entity. That means it has a separate identity as compared to the government. So if members come and join, it will not affect the statutory corporation because it is being passed under a special act, so it has a special or a separate identity. The third one is its management is vested in a board of directors appointment or nominated by government. Obviously, in this statutory corporation, there are the people from government and they are nominated by government and are being selected as a board of directors. So government knows each and everything what is going on in this statutory corporation. The next one, it has its own staff, recruitment and appointment as per provision of the act. Definitely the employees who are working under this statutory corporation are not government servants, are not government employees. So whatever their recruitment, their salary, everything be as per their act which is mentioned in the act during the passing in parliament. So it will not work as per the government rules. They have their own rules. Now this type of enterprises is usually independently financed. Now here they are independently financed. That means it obtain fund by borrowing from government. They take fund from government but as a borrowings, or they can take it from public or through the earnings. So they are financially dependent on themselves. If they want finance, they will borrow, but they will not. They are not a part of like budget which government announces. So they do not come under that. This departmental statutory comes under the annual budget which government announces. But here statutory corporation is considered as an independently financed by themselves. Now it is not subject to same accounting and audit rules which are applied to the government department. Now when we were studying about departmental undertakings, we saw that auditing and accounting will be done as per the government rules and regulations. But here, as they have a separate legal entity, as they are financially dependent by themselves, independent we can say, they do not depend on a government. So and even they follow their own rules and regulations, and they have their powers. So they will not follow the accounting and auditing rules of government. They will have their own rules and regulations even for auditing. Now everything has a two sides. Similarly here we have merit and demerit. So let us have look towards the positive side, merits of statutory corporation, that is internal autonomy. Now it enjoys a good deal of autonomy, and it in its day-to-day operation. Now we can say autonomous means they take their own decision, they do not have to depend on anyone, they do not have to consult anyone. So here when they are financially independent, that means they do not depend, so they can take their own decision. Day-to-day operation decision will be taken it by themselves, and it is free from political interference. Like it was in departmental undertakings, there was interference from ministers, and there was red tapism. That means even for small work they have to consult to the authority. So it is not that in this case, in the case of statutory corporation. Second one is quick decision. Now the quick decision or prompt decision will be taken, and quick action will be taken, because they are free from the rules of government. They do not have to depend on the rules, regulations which the government is giving. They do not have to consult with anyone, and they do not have to wait for their response. They take their own action. So there will be a quick decision taken by them. Now parliamentary control. Their performance is subject to discussion in the parliament, which ensures proper use of public money. Now here when it is written that they get the source of money from borrowings from public or borrowings from government, so there is a discussion in the parliament, but that doesn't mean they are accountable or they are answerable for it. Okay, only the discussion is done, because all the resources will be used properly by statutory corporation. The fourth one is efficient management. Now their directors are and the top executives are professionals, they are expert in their field. So whatever decision they will take, that decision will be right, because they have experience, and plus they do not have to depend on any consulting, or so there will be a quick decision, right decision. All we can say expert people will be there in statutory corporation. So these are the merit sides of statutory corporation. Let us have look towards the demerit side, that is negative side. In reality, when we look towards the statutory corporation, there is not much flexibility. Okay, it suffer from lot of political interference. Just for the saying, we say that it is an autonomous, it has a separate legal entity, but now here when board of director has people from government belonging to, obviously there will be interference from political side, from ministers and all. Usually they enjoy monopoly in their field and do not have profit motive due to their working turns out in an inefficient. Now they do not work for the profit because they enjoy the monopoly, but still now there is an interference for government and they work for the society, so they do not work with a motive of profit. The next third one is where there is dealing with the public rampant corruption exists. Obviously you know the current situation, what is going on. So on the paper it's written something else, like they have in autonomous, but you have seen there is an interference of political. So definitely there will be a corruption, and thus the public corporation is suitable for undertaking required monopoly power, but definitely the corruption will be there. So this is a biggest demerit of statutory corporation. And now where it is suitability, okay, it is suitable for the organization, number one, which requires special power under an act, where something special is required to be passed under an act in the parliament, and the enterprises require a huge amount of capital investment. So these two conditions are there where statutory corporation is suitable to start. So this is all we have learned about the second classification of public sector. In our next video we are going to see the third classification, and that is government, that is government company. We are going to learn about it. Okay, so thank you so much and keep on learning.